بعقلية مختلفة، في قلب وحمد بين التطبيق والأفكار الجميلة. أستاذ محمد قال كلام جميل جدا. نحن زمانك صغار وصلات وقبل الدولة عمل مسجد النيلين، بس في مساجد وبلاوي وبتاع nobody cares. لسه شايفين المدينة يعني مخجلة، صحيح هذا مينيمم. فالموضوع كويس وانت مقدراتك عاليه، قدرت تنبسط في وقت معقول، وكانت بالنسبه لي صعبه جدا انه تبي تنبسط في الوقت ده. مشيت فيه كويس بالحصافه بتاعتك تظبط، لكن صعبه انت عملتها في اقل من ساعه. انت ما سوداني. فشفت نحن بنعمل في شنو هسه؟ اوكي، انا عاوز تطشر حاجات معينه شويه ظلمت الكلتشر والسوسايتي. وقلت كلام في الاخر ما عجبني، قلت we have to teach the client. بالمناسبه الكلاينت كان teach you a lot، حتى لما ما يعمل خطتك هو بيديك درس. ف this is important. The client, we said we have to teach the client. I think we learn a lot from the client, even when he deviates from our design. Okay, this is a lesson to be learned. في كلام جميل، انا زعلت منك وليه حق ازعل منك؟ لانه في الاخر خالص كلفتنا قلت we are all agents، وتكلمت عن the relationship between the outlet and the client. خطيت لنا في دولتين، حرام عليك كده قاعد العب ولا قاعد العب. اوكي؟ فانا سعيد واستاذ حمدي قال كلام جميل جدا. العمل في مجموعه، زمان بنشتغل مع استاذ حمدي وغيره ما بياخذوا افكارنا مرات ما يقدر كيف؟ نحن بس بنعمل نفس العمليه، انا جبت واحده شاطره جدا تساعدني، في الاخر انت جايب لي نحن كسودانيين وشرقيين، الواحد سيد المكتب وسيد الشغل بيعمل الدائره بيجيبك كده يجمل بك القعده. ف كنت داير اقول شكرا جزيلا.
Speak more about this. I was given 45 minutes and I already went over. So.
Sustainability في layer عادة الناس ما بتحبش فيه. اللي هو مثلا ممكن يكون في الديواليتي بتاعت الفانكشنز. While buildings aren't empty by night or full by day, these things, and how the buildings include the community, inclusive architecture. Now, this also builds upon the fact that young architects are being influenced by what they call star architect. Yeah, this star architect, the person who's always in the news, who's building the buildings the way he likes. So how are you helping students look in the other direction? It's other layer of sustainability, not the star.
Very good question. What was the question? I mean, he's like an actor who became famous with one role, and now he plays the same role again and again. He's in the margin. Star architects in the margin. Star architects, they have their own clients, they do their own thing, but real architects on the ground doing the kinds of things that need to be done. Which includes, for example, efficiency of the building. You go to a building and it's all useless spaces. That's not efficient building. Even though if the meter runs very slowly, but it's not efficient because all the material is wasted. So we need to think about efficiency, not just energy, spatial efficiency, material efficiency. If I am a good designer, I can design a building that can reduce materials. And it's also going to be better for the environment. Better for the environment now and better for the environment in the future.
Role of architecture. And I am one of the samples you are talking about. You cannot imagine where I'm working now. I'm working as a planner in the water resource development. So there are chances for architects to work everywhere. In the beginning, I was asking myself, what the hell I was doing here? I'm doing here. But regional planning does not specialists to work with water resources specialists. We have many colleagues here working in the same organization. And our ministry, the undersecretary of our our ministry is an architect as well. So this is because the architect is having a very good skills to manage other people and to coordinate other skills. This is one thing. The other thing, we need to talk about the pressing needs of our community. If you talk just things out of the people thinking, you will be out of the line actually. You need to talk the same language people are talking, and this is what I used to repeat for the last 10 years. The first priority, people needs water, power, and they need to be settled. Unless we talk the same language people that are talking, we are as an architect, we'll find ourselves out of life, out of designing houses in order to build a good community, because at the end, you need to provide social service for the people. It's not so important, but what's so important, the planning you do, the objectives you set, to put the people in a better, well, I would say, in a group of people who is having a different specialties. So this is so important. Thank you very much.
What is your experience in marketing sustainability in developing countries, in countries that are on the boom, like China and India? Because globally speaking, when people started promoting and marketing sustainability, India, China, Russia, Brazil said, now it is time to boom, our time to boom, and you want to put us down using this thing. The other thing is, in our third world countries, when we start talking to people about sustainability, they say this is problems of the fancy world. This is problems for America, for Europe, for the rich people who feel guilty for destroying the environment for 70 years, and now they start to make something. We want to survive, we want to live. So how did you deal from your experience with this? Small point, we haven't ما سمعنا أي زول من المهندسات والخريجات والطالبات كل discussions كانت male dominant. نحب نسمع منهم.
The Rio Protocol, the Kyoto Protocol, we haven't done that yet. It's a shame, but not the answer to all their problems, because they end up with huge problems. Anybody sees a picture of Beijing? Yes, cars cannot drive. They are paying the price. Other countries started saying, no, we need to fix the wrong attitude. There is Lead India now, it's the wrong attitude. My advice is that if we want to do something, to have a standard, voluntary standard, we make it a Sudan standard. Appropriate to us, our lifestyle. Lead is for little office buildings in the northern United States, North America. It's appropriate for that. It's not even appropriate for other places, Las Vegas. So my advice is that we need to look. Standards are basically values of the community. The community decides what's the right thing that we accept and nothing below that. So we need to develop our own standards. We need to work on it. It's not that difficult. It will take 2 years, 3 years, but it doesn't matter. In a forum like this, everybody comes and you have lectures and somebody talks about atmosphere, materials, and so on, with consensus. Believe me, in a group like this, not many questions, a group like this, you will reach a consensus, and quickly you build the database. So, developing countries need to, our lifestyles, we're not going to use them, and it's going to be just paper.
Firstly, thank you for your time, for your trip to Sudan to deliver this lecture. My question is very simple. How about BIM programs?
BIM, yeah.
Yes, building information models programs, and how we can operate this.
First of all, it's my pleasure to be here. Wallahi, you have no idea how much I'm delighted to be here amongst you. I told you, it's the most difficult lecture I've given because you're so close. It's like, I want to hug each one of you. Of course, for some people, we distance. Anyway, BIM programs, they have a lot of potential. They haven't reached their potential yet. The idea that you, instead of producing a building represented in a digital format and replace it with designing a model that can be used for different disciplines is amazing. We are very, very excited about the potential for this. Application, don't ask. It's horrible. We are at the beginning of a big revolution, but we're not there. BIM has the potential. And there are a lot of people working on developing programs that can support. Imagine the following. You are designing, you're using a sketching program. The person who is running the program needs to know everything about building industry. So, right now it's a problem. In the future, when the Architect 21st version starts showing up, believe me, it will be very exciting. So I'm excited about it. Not enthusiastic about where we are today. But in the future, it's not going to look like what we have today. It's going to be very, very different.
We have to know the fact that we are in Sudan. And we are so late here in Sudan as a country. And also as students here, although in University of Khartoum, we are still late. I'm going to ask the Sudan Architecture Forum if they have programs or something that really related to our society here in Sudan, like projects or something that we as a student can go for and ask for knowledge. Or you say your students guaranteed or they volunteered in the renovation of the brand downtown of the village. Here, the people don't give a shit for this thing. Because they don't know it. If you, يعني بعد برج الفاتح هنا في الاستاد لو سألت الزول الاستدامة يعني شنو؟ ما حيكون في أي زول عارف يعني شنو استدامة. Really, they don't give a shit because they don't know anything about this thing. We have to be more realistic. We have to make some projects and to learn knowledge about here, Sudan. We need to be more realistic. I'm asking my dean and my teachers here and also my colleagues, most of those people are my colleagues, why not to start a project or a teamwork or something that can be relevant to our community, to our abilities, to our sources, and so on. It's an initiation. I can say it's an initiation. Why not to make something after this lecture? We have to make something sensual, make something real.
To be late because it's better than the alternative. It's a very serious issue, I understand. But one of the fundamental tenets of sustainable design is appropriateness. What I showed is appropriate for a different place, different conditions. But sustainability doesn't mean you do this. It means you do what is appropriate for the time and place. Find what you can do and do it. If you find somebody that needs help, if you find a village that needs help, if you find you have so many brains, resources, this is the most valuable resource in Sudan, is the brains. True. Make use of that. That's the renewable resource that we have today.
Just like to take a minute to announce the launch of the official Sudan Architecture Forum website. We also have an e-journal with each forum sure we're trying to publish a new journal where you can download it. I'm not sure what it's loading. Currently, we have the first sub-journal about the first forum. We'll go back to talk more about it. It's the contact us page where you can, if you miss the discussion, the time is limited as always, you can send your questions or comments, or you can submit suggestions and proposals for future forums. Thank you. Now we continue our discussion.
Codes are very important. It's something that the society should see as an important aspect of what it does continuously. Codes are not written and khalas, it's over and force people. Codes are written, analyzed, commented on, implemented, and by the time this one had problems, we need to fix. We move forward. The only way you can move forward is by having one step at a time. And codes are important. It's not the only thing. I mean, you said force people. You say force people and you say, no. This is for us so we can protect people. And it protects the designers too. Because if you follow the code, you're protected. Nobody can sue you or nobody can say that you're liable for it. So it is for the society to organize the relationship with the design community. Architects, engineers, material producers, importers, people that represent the whole society should be involved in this. It's not a scientific document. It's a compromise document of all stakeholders.
المشكلة الأساسية كطالب أنا مؤسس طالب عمارة، المشكلة الأساسية في السودان إنه نحن مناهجنا من الأساس بتقوم على إنه تقتل الأحلام تحت الأطفال. الفكرة الأساسية في السودان كالآتي: الأساس بقتل الأحلام تحت الأطفال. نحن كمعماريين لما نخش الجامعة بنبدأ ناخذ بيزك ديزاين على أساس إنه نرجع القدرة بتاعتنا تحت التخيل. بيبقى انه لما نشوف في الدول الثانيه بتكون الحاجه ما صعبه شديد لانه هم اساسا عندهم الفكره، المناهج بتاعتهم مناهج عمليه اكثر من انها مناهج نظريه. في السودان هنا الحاجه دي شويه صعبه، عشان كده بنلقى انه نحن بصعوبه في الجامعه انه المنهج بتاعنا حتى هو من نوع المناهج اللي فيها مناهج قديمه، يعني ما مناهج جديده، حتى المكتبات الكتب اللي فيها كتب قديمه ما كتب جديده. فبتبقى الافكار اللي زي اللي بيجيبوها هنا المنتدى افكار جديده بالنسبه لنا كطلاب وكاساتذه وكمعماريين في السودان. الحاجه الثانيه انه انا الليله لو اخترت انه اعمل بالنظريه دي حلقه انه انا في السودان هنا ما هشتغل. ليه؟ لانه اساسا الكلاينت اللي في السودان هنا والناس كلها اللي عندها الفكره الاساسيه في البيت عندها حلم معين للبيت بتاعها، عندها حلم معين للبنك بتاعها، عندها حلم معين للحيز اللي دايما انت تصممه. الحلم المعين ده ما لم انا اقدر اغيره ما حقدر اغير الطريقه الاساسيه في التفكير في السودان. تبقى الفكره الاساسيه في انه انا اذا قدرت اطور من المنهج السوداني بقدر اطور من جميع الافكار بتاعت كل الناس اللي بيقروا في السودان. ما اعتقد انه لسه في ناس في السودان ما متعلمين او لسه يعني ما عندهم النظريه بتاعت التعلم. كل الاطفال للاجيال القادمه اي ثينك انهم حيخشوا المدرسه وحيتعلموا. فانا لو بديت اغرس الحاجه دي من تحت حاجه القى الحاجه دي فوق. طيب زمان كان قريت قصه في النت انه الروسيين هم أول ناس طلعوا صاروخ القمر. طيب قامت أمريكا في 10 سنة غيرت المناهج بتاعتها على أساس إنها بعد 10 سنة طلعت صاروخ القمر. دي خير مثال على الفكرة دي. شكرا.
كل الطريق الترجمة. All the way. الكوريكولم just like the codes need to be revised continuously. يعني عندنا برنامج في الجامعة اسمه continuous program evaluation. At the end of every semester, آخر كل semester الطلبة fill forms رأيهم في الأستاذ في الفصل في الحصة في المنهج في الكتب كله. At the end of every semester it's collected, tallied, and you get it back. You take it and you revise. كل كم سنة the whole program changes its curriculum. ما يعني haphazardly. They do study, find what works, what doesn't work, and يتغير شنو في الدنيا أو كده, and we keep moving continuously. We have to learn to do things not once. We have to learn to do things and we do them sustainably. I mean, sustainability is really important to have to think in a sustainable way. الاستدامة في التفكير أهم من الاستدامة في المبادئ. Curriculum لازم continuously be evaluated, assessed, and changed. So I agree with you. The client, well, this is the job of the architect anywhere in the world. To convince the client that you are trustworthy and you have the knowledge to achieve the desires and the dreams of your client in a way that is special, inexpensive, efficient, and good. So it's not Sudanese. Every architect, everywhere in the world, has to convince the client to do something beyond what they thought they knew. Clients will give business of architecture.
السلام عليكم. أشكرك على المحاضرة دي وأشكرك على تحليل السودان. خيرك يعني ده يعني أنا بشهادتي يعني ده كان مشروع تخرج كان زمان رنو هسه بقيت اتذكر كان مشروع تخرج كان الكمبيوتر اللي كان معها يعني هسه بقيت سستينبل طبعا. دي حاجات طبعا كلمة غير الموضوع. على سؤالي يعني هو ستيل يعني ممكن a good design, a good practice, a good procedure to design sustainable designs and procedures دي ولا it is a matter of code to get to assistance, either go or a code or something like that, or still يعني الناس architects they do it and they do practice.
Code to make sure if you read the US code, the code بتاع the building code, which is part of the international building code, it's fire safety most of it. في voluntary standards زي LEED, زي BREEAM, Golden Globes, these are voluntary and actually لأنه it's a good business practice إنه I sell you better product. I said that so people go to architects معروفين إنه هما they will do something better, quality. And I know people say buildings that use sustainable practices are more expensive. It's just like buying Arabiya that is good Arabiya. There is value in it. And the sustainable building and materials are better. And it's not going to be loose and broken quickly because durability is an important aspect of sustainability. And the quality of air, quality of life, quality of lighting. People discovered that businesses make more money. I'll tell you a true story. This is what's happening today. Hospitals are putting gardens and beautiful open spaces and windows for every patient. It's a luxury. It's Americans thing. You know why? Because when a patient, this is research, when a patient looks at a nice view, they heal quickly, they stay very short period of time in the hospital, they save money. It's money. Money talks. And this is the thing that makes people do this, because people realize with their own eyes, with their own experiences, that there is benefit, financial benefit. We're not doing it, believe me, we're not all tree huggers. You know, it's like, oh, the environment, I love little turtles, and put it back. No. A lot of people are doing this, businesses are doing this, because there is benefit. People need to understand this. Better buildings are better quality buildings. Better quality buildings produce better people. You know, we're talking about the school. You change the lighting, you start seeing the attitude change. Use daylighting. The use of daylighting in elementary school produce better grades for math and English. Oh. So there is benefit. Put daylighting, you have better quality. Shopping areas found daylighting increase sales by 20%. There is actual benefit, financial benefit. We're not, as I said, we're not just doing it for the community, but people are doing this today because it makes financial sense.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Awad Hatim, I'm 40 experienced advice. My question is, what are, in your own opinion, what are the most suitable ways or steps for to be taken by a fresh graduate in order to be involved in the best way in the field, especially in the sustainable architecture? And thank you.
I think the people who are taking the workshop today realize that a lot of things they think they know is not true. So you have to learn. You have to learn on your own. You have to work very hard, and then you start finding ways that you implement what you learn. You don't tell people, I'm going to do only green design. I always equate green design with good design. Because as I said, it's good quality, it's good for the environment, it's good for the client, it's good for the occupants. So decide to do what needs to be done, and don't tell people about it. If people get allergic when they hear sustainability, say, I'm going to give you the best design possible. Keep it to yourself. Change the world silently. So my advice for a student, to learn. Advice to myself, to keep learning. Advice to everybody. Remember the perpetual student? The only way we're going to improve is by keep learning, knowing that there is so much to learn. There are so many questions and answers. What's the least expensive way of doing this in Sudan? You know, people are using bamboo. I saw a school in Indonesia designed by a Dutch architect. It's a magnificent school. It won awards for sustainability and so on. Find what's appropriate, find what works, find what needs to be done. And put all these together and do it. Little things. You don't have to make a big change. Make little changes. All of us will make a lot of difference. Don't think big, think small.